It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
All right, welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News, guys. Again, the signal is really wonky today. We are sailing around in circles, basically. They just had an announcement that they're having a Q&A session right now with the captain and the staff to talk about the situation. Of course, I'm here. So, oh well. I'm back in my room, by the way. And we have a visitor this morning. Stick your head in here. Got to duck down. There's Cindy.
Hello.
So we're coming to you live from the Carnival Paradise. We're out in the, we're basically off southwestern corner of Florida, but out probably 100 miles or so. The best information I have now, folks, and this is coming from several sources, is that the Carnival Paradise will attempt to go in late this evening, depending on the storm and how far it comes into the Gulf. It's expected now to cross the state, get into the Gulf, which then could cause more, issues with us trying to get under the bridge into Tampa. So they're still saying the possibility of getting back tonight. Most likely it's going to be tomorrow. So that's what we're looking at here from the Carnival Paradise. We are to the Cruise Amigos this afternoon. That's at 1 o'clock my time. That's Eastern Standard Time, noon Central Standard Time, and 6 p.m. GMT. Amigo Martin is in an undisclosed location on a boat somewhere. Don't know if they'll make it or not. Down the Carnival Paradise. And of course, Amigo John will be coming to you from his igloo, as he was expecting 20, 30 inches of snow last night. So we're having a blizzard up there in Crookston, Minnesota. So anyway, that's going to be the Amigos this afternoon. If you're listening via the podcast, always welcome. You can access the podcast via my blog when I can get on the blog to put it up. The podcast broadcasts have been getting up, but I've been unable to access my blog to actually get the podcast loaded to the blog. So again, my apologies for that. If anybody, it's confusing me. Hopefully we'll get to it, get everything caught up, tonight or tomorrow. When I get into the hotel, hopefully, if we get in tonight, Hot Air Tom's taking care of a hotel. If it's tomorrow, then I'll get in the car, because hopefully the storm will be gone enough that I can start heading back to Virginia. All right. On the show this morning, we'll have an update, of course, on Tropical Storm Nicole. Bunch of cruise ship alterations other than just Carnival Paradise. A gangway collapses in Panama. Bar Harbor votes to restrict cruise passengers. Queen Anne delayed. MSC tops 400,000 bookings for October. That's strong. Royal Caribbean drops more restrictions. A new terminal opens. And a lot more here live at 11 o'clock. And hopefully it's live and you're getting a decent signal. I have no idea on that one. Today is National Vanilla Cupcake Day. Oh, that's better than the last couple have been. At least I don't have to scream about that. All right, I'll be back with today's news after a quick break from one of our network sponsors. All right, guys. On with the news. Yeah, you can say it. That's fine. So we'll continue on with the news here, guys. I went over to check and make sure and nobody was screaming at me for not being on the air. So it looks like maybe I'm luckily to stay on the air this time. Who knows? All right. Now, don't know how quickly things are going to upload, but talking about the weather, Hurricane Nicole made a rare November landfall in the U.S. last night when she came ashore just south of Vero Beach on North Hutchinson Island about 3 a.m. It's now a tropical storm centered over east central Florida. Strong winds, dangerous storm surge, and waves. And that's expected to continue over a pretty large area for some time yet. Location is about 45 miles northwest of Vero Beach, about 65 miles or so southeast of Orlando. Maximum sustained winds are 70 miles an hour. Present movement to the west-northwest at 14. Central pressure is 981 and steady for now. You'd expect it to be coming up, but it's holding steady for at least the last couple cycles. A turn toward the northwest and north-northwest is expected later today and tonight, following an acceleration toward the north and northeast on Friday. Forecast tracked the center of the cold move across Florida this morning, possibly emerged over the far northeast Gulf of Mexico this afternoon, and then move across the Florida Panhandle and into Georgia tonight and on Friday into the Carolinas. Maximum winds, like I say, are 70, so it has been reclassified as a tropical storm. It was a hurricane when that formed while it was still over the Bahamas, and it just pounded the Bahamas. And it's pounded a good bit of the East Coast, folks, with wind, a lot of beach erosion. Additional weakening is forecast while Nicole moves over land. However, we don't know what's going to happen if it does get back over water again. Again, even the northwest Gulf of Mexico is still fairly warm, not as warm as further to the south, but that could give it a little more teeth. Who knows? We're just going to have to watch that, see what happens. It remains a large tropical storm with tropical storm force winds now 450 miles from its center. That's a long way for tropical storm force winds. All right, multiple sailings involving 6 ships from 5 home ports in 2 states by Carnival are impacted by the storm. Carnival Sunshine, which is currently home ported in Charleston, has had to change its itineraries. Carnival Elation already had its current itinerary altered. It's expected to return to Jacksonville one day late. Carnival Liberty may now also be delayed in returning to Port Canaveral on Friday. The next sailing is scheduled to proceed as expected, but with a 1-hour delay in embarkation time for arriving passengers. All guests are asked to delay their arrival appointment times by 1 hour, but must be on board by 2:30. Sailing from Miami, the Carnival Sunrise has no changes to its current itinerary and is expected to arrive back in Miami today. Depends on, I know Fort Lauderdale just a few minutes ago had not reopened. I don't know if Miami's reopened or not. Obviously, the Sunrise going into Miami, it can't get in there until it's reopened. But I don't know now if there's a big difference between the ports. I have not heard about Miami this morning. I have heard about Fort Lauderdale. Also sailing from Miami, both Carnival Conquest current itinerary and next sailing departing on Friday remains unchanged at this time. And of course, this was the official word from Carnival Paradise, may be able to dock late tonight, but may be delayed until tomorrow morning. So, who knows? That's the way we're rolling. Anyway, it was a big mess this morning. Because I have to take some medications, guys know. I went up to the buffet as soon as it opened because I had to take a pill with food. And so I go to the bar up there and I go to get my diet Pepsi. This is a Pepsi house now, not Coke. And the guy behind the bar says, "Oh, I'll be $3.75 or whatever the hell I charge for a can of Pepsi." I said, No, I got the bubbles back. He says, "Oh, that ran out." I said, "What? That's not what they said last night." I said, "Besides that, it's early. This would be, if we had docked in Tampa, I'd be coming here for breakfast before I get off the ship. I could still get a Diet Pepsi." He says, "Oh, no, I have to charge you whatever it is, $3.25, $3.50, whatever." I said, that sucks. Give me the Diet Pepsi, but you're going to come back and credit me back for that as soon as I get it straightened out. I said, "I want the bubbles free package or whatever the hell it is for the day." "Oh, you have to pay for that." I know. I paid for it all week, dude. So he had no idea what to charge me. So I got back to the cabin. I called the front desk. I said, "Okay, we got to fix this, folks. You give me a letter last night, you say one thing. And this morning, the guy up there, when I went to get a Diet Pepsi, says, I'm different. I need to find out how much." And she said, "Well, you have to wait till 8 o'clock. Come to the Atrium Bar." Okay. So at 8 o'clock, I went to the Atrium Bar and I'm rolling there. And the guy says, "Yeah, it's going to cost you $11. He says, "But I can't credit you back for what they charged you upstairs. Go back up there." So I go back up there. And of course, it's a different bartender. So the lady there says, "Well, I'm the supervisor." I said, "Well, good. I don't screw up over $3." Anyway, it's now fixed. Spend that Pepsi through the day. I'm charging me a ridiculous amount of money. Anyway, all right. Do have a couple news stories today. Let's see. It looks like I'm missing one already. Oh, it moved on me. How about that? You can't imagine me ever being technically challenged, can you?
No.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right, load up picture. While docked in Panama City, Panama, the gangway of the Norwegian Encore collapsed and several guests were reported injured by the incident. Emergency responders arrived quickly on the scene and work began immediately to clear the damaged gangway. Guests on board the Encore reported hearing emergency codes announced over the ship loudspeakers about 1:30 local time. Several guests were assisted via stretchers and wheelchairs to the emergency vehicles, apparently with injuries. Though no names or details have been confirmed, NCL's care team was dispatched to Panama City to offer additional support to those guests. The gangway was apparently quite steep at the port and appears to have bent due to a lack of underlying support. Guests were walking across the gangway at the time of the collapse. No information is available about whether the ship left port on schedule, but it does not appear there will be any delays to the remainder of the ship's itinerary, and she should arrive in Miami as planned. And folks, I'm not on the Encore, so it wasn't the fat travel guy that caused the gangway to collapse. It was somebody else, not me. Just wanted to point that one out. All right. Next story this morning. Hope that loads up. At most, 1/3 1,000 cruise ship passengers crew will be allowed to disembark a cruise ship while in port in Bar Harbor, Maine from 2024. At most, 1,000 cruise ship passengers. This was the outcome of a vote in the quaint seaside town on the Atlantic coast on Tuesday in the election. The decision from residents will likely not be welcomed by the cruise industry. Well, I would think not, as Bar Harbor plays a vital role during the popular autumn cruises to the New England and Canada. You know, when they first started talking about this, folks, I thought it was a mistake. And how about all the people up there that are going to lose money now? You know, all the vendors and the people that count on the cruise industry. So you're just wiping their income out. I tell you what, the cruise lines need to do. They need to go find another port up there and do one big ass thing like they've done in other ports in the Caribbean and put the Bar Harbor people out of business altogether. Wouldn't blame them at all. All right, I'm not going to get on a rant. I promise. No, I won't promise that. Cunard has announced the necessary delay of the Queen Anne, citing supply chain shortages. You know, I'm getting tired of hearing about supply chain shortages. They're claiming that's the reason now. And energy concerns also. Yeah, they don't want to pay, you know, an extra $1 for gas or whatever hell of fuel they use. Diesel, marine diesel, porpoise spit. I don't know. But anyway, it'll push back the ship's debut for several months. Queen Anne will not welcome guests until May. Book guests impacted by the delay are being contacted. The maiden voyage are being rebooked on the new inaugural sailing, whether they want to go on it or not. Okay, Cunard can do it that way. All right, the next story this morning. There's a bunch of little stories here today from all over the place. I've been busy all morning. I need a nap. Dennis, can I take a nap? That's spelled N-A-P, and I don't mispronounce it. Dennis, you know I love you. I'm teasing you. Okay, what's next? I'm lost. The effect of the excitement that is built up for MSC Cruises' newest cruise ship reached an all-time high this last month. The Switzerland-based cruise line, which everybody thinks is an Italian-based cruise line, it's not, reported a record-breaking bookings for cruises this winter and summer of 2023 with nearly 400,000 passenger bookings. That's a pretty strong month for anybody, much less MSC, that's a little smaller than Royal Caribbean and Carnival and Norwegian. That's a good month. Congratulations. The release of the latest flagship, which is the MSC World Europa, the soon-to-be delivered MSC Seascape that I'll be on in 3 weeks from now, and the MSC Eurybia, which will come into service in mid-2023, has driven the popularity of the cruise line, boosted by pent-up demand for cruises worldwide. Royal Caribbean has also updated its health and safety protocols, eliminating pre-cruise testing for guests that go to Haiti. That would be Labadee. Where else was it? Haiti and Honduras, that's right. On cruises departing from the U.S. or Caribbean home ports. That'll start on November 9th, regardless of vaccination status. With this update, only guests who will be visiting Colombia, taking transatlantic sailings, or cruising from Australia will now require pre-COVID tests. That's a good sign. Royal Caribbean's new terminal down there in Galveston opened yesterday. That's not loading, right? Anyway, Royal Caribbean's new $125 million cruise terminal in Galveston is officially open, ready for the largest ever cruise ship, the home port in the state of Texas. That would be the lure of the seas. The Port of Galveston held a ribbon ceremony that celebrated the terminal opening and the arrival of one of the world's largest cruise ships. The terminal will help Royal Caribbean accommodate up to 630,000 passengers per year out of Galveston. That's nice numbers. Very nice numbers. All right, guys, that actually is going to wrap up the news portion. I'll go over and see who's screaming at me in the chat room. Probably everybody. So, Kevin's with us. Good morning, Chillie. Thoughts are with the folks in Florida. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate that. Obviously, we all do that. I'm trying to make as light of the situation as possible today. But it's not for a Category 1 storm. It's just wreaked havoc over the east coast of Florida. And by the way, to prove that this ship isn't going anywhere anytime soon, they're giving us a free bingo game with a free cruise. You know, they're not going to do that at 2:00 in the afternoon and land at 3:15. That ain't going to happen. We all got free, like, all 45,000 people are going to go play. I don't know how many people are on this ship. 2,000, whatever it is. They ain't going to show up to play bingo. I don't play bingo. Anyway.
If you don't want to play, I'll take your card.
Cindy wants my card. She can have it.
Oh.
She can play. She might win 2 cruises.
Yeah. Maybe you'll win a cruise.
Or if you win a cruise, take me with you.
There you go.
I'm sure you wouldn't mind, would you? Oh. Nick's over here too. So, anyway, he knows I'm joking. I hope he knows I'm joking. He's bigger than I am. Oof. Mike's with us. Hi, Mike. Robert's here. Hey, Robert, good to see you again. Katie's with us. Hi, Katie. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up on the way. It helps people that like the live stream. I appreciate that, Kevin. Yep, thumbs up. We always like that. By the way, let me take this opportunity. If you're new, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost a thing. That really helps me out. Hit the little bell notification. It'll tell you when I go live or when I post a new video. And if I can ever upload them again. I have not been able to upload any videos for 3 days now. I can't get on my blog. I can't put the podcast on my blog. And I tell people, you can always access it on my blog. Yeah, no. Not right now you can't. Nikki's with us. Good morning, Nikki. How's things up in Jacksonville? We had a little bit of rain. A few palm fronds blew off to decorate the front yard. Well, that's always nice. You can throw some lights out on your yard on the palm fronds, and then you can say Merry Christmas, everybody. That would work. I wish I was stuck on a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean. You know, it didn't bother me at all that we got this extra time on board. I feel bad for the poor people that were planning on getting on board today. They're the ones that screwed in this deal, not us. You know, we're safe. They got plenty of food. They got some booze if you want an adult beverage. Heavens, I would never think of such a thing. By the way, in case it didn't get posted last night, I'm not sure if it did or not. I had my first ever chocolate martini last night, and it was all Cindy's fault. I saw her have one, and I said, damn, that looks good. It was, too. Anyway, I'm blaming that on Cindy. From now on, whenever I have a chocolate martini, which is going to be
in a couple hours
shortly, I'll blame it on Cindy. Sonny's with us. Hi, Sonny. Mississippi. That's what she say. Oh, from a sunny, non-humid day in Mississippi. Wow, how about that? Hot Air Tom's here. You have sped up a bit doing 8 knots. Well, we were doing like 2 to 3 knots all night, going around in circles. I was getting dizzy, you know. And it has been a lot of swaying, but there were some times this morning that was bumpy. It was like you were going down a bumpy road. It was kind of strange. I hope people this morning that I've talked to that this was like it was in the old days. Only this is the way it was when it was calm. When you would sway back and forth. Back before the ships had no stabilizers and stuff. Man, it's been a little dicey. It's also been foggy. You don't see many foggy mornings when you're out on the ocean. You see fog in ports. But yeah, we've been through some bangs of fog this morning. It's a little strange. Hot air says a slow boat to Tampa. Yeah. And it's still hot air. We have no direct knowledge of what it's going to do today, tonight, or tomorrow. It's definitely not going to be until tonight. I can tell you that now. How are the guests reacting to the extra day? Well, they're having a good time. When most people don't care. The people that, there's some people that are, have responsibilities and so forth. Some people have pets at home that they had to make some calls and stuff. So, yeah. But I haven't seen a whole lot of really anybody just, being angry about it. But, the alternative is to try to go under that bridge and storm surge and wind? No, I don't think so. And then try to top to a dock and storm surge and wind? No. That's how you have wrecks at docks and stuff. See, there's Dennis. Dennis is with us this morning. Is there smoked salmon at the breakfast buffet? Today they had on the buffet, they had a ham Benedict. And they have salmon that you can get to make like a lox and bagel. In the dining room, yes. I've had every morning that I've gone to the dining room. Yesterday we went to the C-Day brunch, and I had my eggs Benedict, and I had lox and bagels. Not that I'm big or anything, but those are two things that I really like. So yeah, there is some salmon up there. You just have to go to a couple different places to get the salmon, to get the cream cheese. They don't put it together so that you can get a lox and bagels at the same time. But yeah, there's salmon up there. I have not seen, on like Royal Caribbean and Norwegian, they'll offer one just regular scrambled eggs, and then each day there'll be maybe a scrambled eggs with ham or a scrambled eggs with salmon. But Carnival doesn't do that. It's just straight scrambled eggs, at least that I've seen the times that I've gone to the buffet this time. Hot Air Tom should be on the Encore and could have been on that collapsed gangway. Yeah, that's right, Hot Air Tom. Yeah, you could have been. Who is video bombing you? I have no idea. It happens all the time. I get the one that gets me is the sex bombers. I haven't seen the sex bombers for a couple of days. Jason there in Pittsburgh, he has access to. If he sees it, he'll go in to delete them for me. But yeah, we'll get some of that on occasions. I'm sure you would have been fine at Hot Air Tom. Yeah, well, Hot Air Tom is I don't know. He's a big guy. It wouldn't be anything like the fat man here walking across that gangway. But Hot Air Tom's a pretty big dude. He might have knocked it down too. The canal crossing was not a good one. Cruisers had to be up at 3 a.m. yesterday, and by 1 p.m. our time, the ship was in the Caribbean. Some unhappy people who wanted a daylight crossing, they went through the canal at night.
Wow, that's not good.
What the hell? That's supposed to be a canal crossing. You gotta, duh. Was that because the gangway happened after they went through the canal, didn't it? Panama City is on this side. Yeah. That's a weird one. Yeah. Hot Air Tom, yeah, you're the big cheese with with Norwegian. Get out your Norwegian dictionary and open it to page 346, paragraph C, and read it to them in Norwegian that says, Norwegian, that was dumb. Just telling you where to go find the right things to translate to Norwegian. Sonny says, nice to be able to sleep through a hurricane. Yeah, no. Does Katie do that? Did Katie sleep through this thing? And well, she's in Orlando. It might not have been that bad. I mean, it's going to be windy up there, though. Nah. Katie says, this one is nothing like Ian. Yeah, you guys are used to this, so I understand. But, you know, it's still a lot of beach erosion, too. The beaches are going to be really trashed from this one. Is that Cindy Lee in the background? Let her take over the show. Cindy? Jason says, take over the show. So take over the show.
Hi, Jason.
What have you been doing?
Oh, I have been in the casino. I have been drinking some spiked coffee from the coffee bar. And I have been eating too much. What else?
Going to comedy shows at 3 a.m. or some god-awful time.
So many comedy shows. Yes, I think I've been to every single one of them. And at night, there's 2 comedians, and they usually do 2 during the day, and then they do 2 late at night at like 10:15, 11:15. So yeah, I've been up really late watching the comedy, and they're hilarious. So
the fat man has not gone to the late shows. I have fun with the comedian at the early shows.
Yeah, he went to that one show, yeah. So yeah, I always let him know where I'm at because I'm always at one of the shows. They have really good production shows on here. I was impressed. They had an 80s show and they had a rock show, Epic Rock. Yeah, the singers are really good. Definitely much better than the last Carnival ship in May. Their shows were not too good, but they're really good. What else is good? Food was good. Buffet has a lot. It's not real crowded on smaller ships, so I'm running all around here all the time.
She is. She motors a lot, Jason. She's not easy to keep up with. Kevin says 11 people watching, 5 thumbs up. Smash that thing. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, I never can tell on who sees this live, and everybody starts watching it later on the replays, which is a good thing. And then, of course, on the podcast is where I'm getting my biggest numbers from. It's amazing. At WDW, Magic Kingdom opens at noon, and the other, that's Walt Disney World, of course, parks open hours later. Also, they're going to get Magic Kingdom back open at noon. So that means things are definitely picking up coming across the state. Yo, Brooklyn in the house. Hey, Eddie, good to see you, my friend. Eddie says, hey to everybody. Everybody's talking now, saying hey to Eddie. Sonny and Tom and everybody. And everybody says, it's amazing. And the way they talk back and forth in the chat room. Fizzy drinks are included on Disney Cruise Line, and their cola is Coke. Yeah. I was surprised that Carnival has switched to Pepsi, and that's because of I don't know, there was some decision made in the upper echelons. But yeah, I don't care one way or the other, but I'm surprised to see a cruise line going from Coke to Pepsi now because they've been going the other direction. And by the way, last night, and this would have been 9-ish or so when I was coming back to the room, and I stopped. I said, well, I'm going to have one cocktail. Maybe I'll take a cocktail back to my room because I had some work to do if I could get online, which I couldn't. So I stopped and ordered a cocktail. It was free. I guess they had a time period last night that the ship provided the alcohol beverages for people. So I still had to sign it, but it was I don't know, $14 or whatever they charge for a cocktail. And credit, $14, drinks on us. That was cool. So I didn't have to pay for one last night. I didn't mind that at all. That was ridiculous when they can't extend your soda package one more day. Yeah, I know. I don't care if I have to pay for it, but yeah, you'd think, it's not my fault that we're out here. If you sell enough of them, you ought to let it go. But anyway. All right, Sonny's saying, hey, Eddie, also. There's Bonnie, Yo-Yo Eddie, Brooklyn, and South Florida in the house. How's things over there in the West Palm Beach area? No, I know you're not in West Palm. You're near it. How did you survive, Bonnie? I haven't heard this morning because I've been busy. Chillie needs a bourbon and Diet Pepsi. Chillie's going to go get a bourbon and Diet Pepsi. I might have to do another one of those chocolate martinis. At least they don't have tequila in them. That's the one that gets me in trouble. Dennis said, Provincetown, Massachusetts is an excellent port. I never will forget the first time I was in Provincetown, Dennis. I was probably like 10, 11 years old. My mother was driving. My mother was a little old lady from Virginia, So she's driving through Provincetown. And, up there in Provincetown, everybody on the sidewalks walks to the middle of the street, and she's trying to drive through that. And I'm sitting in the car, and she blows her horn for people to get out of the way. And some guy jumped around and called her expletives that I might not still use, but she cussed her out one side and down the other. That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. That was Provincetown. But yeah, I agree. Provincetown's a nice port. One thing that's bad, you don't want to go swimming up there. That damn water is cold in the middle of August. Oh man, is it cold. I used to spend a lot of time in the Boston area as a kid growing up in the summers and out there as well. Whew, it's wicked cold water. Pilgrims landed there until that was erased from the history books and the Plymouth myth was adopted. Yeah, I didn't know that. Dennis has always got some interesting facts. Bonnie says she survived. Wind and rainy. No flooding in her area. That's good. Local beach suffered a lot of erosion. Yeah. Dennis says nap, we call it siesta here, and we do that daily. Many shops close during that time. Yeah, I know. I like it. We need to adopt that in the States. Dennis. Eddie said, Dennis, you in Spain? Sonny, how are things in your area? Oh, yeah, I was asking the same thing. Plymouth Rock is a small rock. I have a friend who lives in Plymouth. I've been to Plymouth too many times. Yeah, Dennis is in Greece. I knew that. And yeah, I was not really aware that siestas were done in Greece. My impression of Greece is that as the men run around and pinch women on the butts. I'm just kidding. Greece is one of the most absolutely beautiful places in the whole world. I love the Greek islands. I love Greece. I can't wait to get back over there. And yeah, folks, despite my aversion to flying, I got to do some European trips in here. That's going to happen this year sometime. Not this year, next year, 23. I definitely got to get back to Europe. Ship is going to tip when everyone shows up for bingo. Yeah, that's right. Everybody shows up for the free bingo game.
It's all in front of the ship.
And things going to go sideways. That would be good. Cindy just said it's on the front ship, so it's going to take a nosedive. That will turn us into a submarine. Katie says, wow, that's on my bucket list. Yeah, man, I tell you what, I love Greece. I really do. There's so much. I mean, Europe is so different from the States. That the architecture in every country you go to over there. I've shared with you from Rochelle, my buddy, on a bunch of her European travel there. I think she's been to every church and cathedral in Europe, and they're all just gorgeous. I love the architecture. I love the people. Yeah, I'm not real big on any of the big cities other than Madrid. I like Madrid. All the rest of the big cities, I can take it or leave it. Get me 15, 20 miles outside where you're dealing with the real local people. I love it. Well, I do the same thing in the islands, too. I like to go to local joints. I don't like to do the touristy things. Dennis says, yes, the Plymouth Rock is part of the mythical story of the Pilgrims. They landed in Provincetown first, but over 100 years ago, they decided people shouldn't know that. I wonder why. That makes very little sense to me, but then I'm not very smart. Provincetown's present reputation as an artist colony. Yeah, and it is there. There's quite a few really cool artists up there. Bonnie says, personally, I prefer Salem or Boston when I'm in Massachusetts. Been to Boston many times. I like Boston too. Bonnie says, yes, I saw your chocolate martini. It's all Cindy's fault. That's correct. Cindy is going to send me to the dogs. That's it. We're going to blame everything I do from now on Cindy. Absolutely. I was blaming everything on Hot Air Tom from August, but now I got somebody else to blame. That's great.
So the next cruise.
Man, that opens me up for all kinds of things. I like it. Katie says she loves chocolate martinis too.
Mm-hmm.
A chocolatini, Dennis says. Yeah, they don't really mix it over here. They just call it plain chocolate martini.
We also have espresso martini.
And the funniest thing that happened, and I haven't had a chance to post it yet because I'm having all these issues posted. So we got this waiter named Christian. He's really a good waiter. He's so much fun. He dances and he's got tons of personality. And I couldn't see where he was from. So I asked him one night, I said, Christian, where are you from? He says, Philadelphia. I said, yeah, right. So anyway, I've got that on video. So I'm going to get that up one of these times because it's fun. I mean, obviously he's not from Philadelphia. He's really from the Philippines, which I found out. But he said Philadelphia. Yeah. The people who write history books make up their own history. Well, this is an interesting subject this morning. We haven't talked about history books before on this channel, I don't think. Bonnie says, I've had a rough day, night. On one of my good friends lost her. Oh, sorry about that. Lost her mother yesterday. Sorry, Bonnie. My friend was one of my former cruise buddies. I loved her mom. Her mom was had a Bichon. Yeah. Yeah, we miss Baba. Hot Air Tom says, Chillie, the Gangway incident was on Monday. The ship was in port overnight and departed late evening on Tuesday, entered the canal at 4 a.m. on Wednesday. So it was on the other side. Oh, no, it was on this side. And then no, they're coming from Seattle, Tom. I'm confused as on the story now. Bonnie says, wait a minute, I lost the comment. Me and Princess both slept through the hurricane. Very good. Glad Princess did. She tends to go nuts on those things. Jason says Cindy knows how to cruise. Yes, she does. She does. And I tell you, Jason, I totally enjoyed Cindy and Nick on this cruise. It's been terrific. And I've laughed about as much as I've ever laughed on a cruise before. It's been great fun. Hot Air Tom says, I'm thinking if Carnival needs to charge extra day soda package, you might get a bill for the extra day cruising too. No, I got that in writing. It's just, they didn't put in writing that the drinks packages would be covered today. That's the problem. The reason they're not doing it is because the people that want 45 alcoholic beverages for free. You get a free drink as a platinum member. Oh yeah, I know that. But I'm not platinum on Carnival. They never did. I can't remember. I think it was like 21 cruises that they disallowed on my loyalty program because they were too old. Carnival is up many food and beverage stuff. Yep, they've raised prices on quite a few things. But the big one was, the entrees. They doubled the prices. That's what some of my competitors said. That was up for water. The big headline about doubling prices. The entrees. If you have a third entree, they're going to charge you $5. If you have a third entree, you deserve to pay $5.
You could have 5 appetizers.
Wicked cold. A good one, Chillie. Those Bostonians love the word wicked. Yes, that's true. It says, sorry I joined late. Where are you circling? We're about, I don't know, if you go out from like Naples, maybe, Marco Island that way, straight due west. Might even be a little further south than that. Maybe, I don't know, 75 miles off the coast, maybe. Just guessing by looking at Cruise Mapper. I can't put those numbers together, latitude and longitude, and figure out where you are. I'm not that smart. But anyway, someplace right off the southern coast of Florida. So we got, when they actually decide they can go back in, we're probably, 3-4 hours cruise to the bridge and then 2 hours in. If we start back right now, we got 5 or 6 hours of cruising to get there. And they're not going to head back until it's over and done and gone away. I guarantee it. Dennis says they pinch everybody's bottom. Yeah, I know. The Greeks do like that. And the guys, I love the guys that sit around. Of course, over there you can smoke, which you can't over here anymore. They sit around at those tables outside cafes and stuff, smoking and looking at the women. And it's, from 8 to 90, they're all sitting out there looking at the women. I love it. I definitely like the sound of that European vacation in a cruise. Yeah, Rich, Robert, we're going to do that. We're going to go to Europe on something. Will you get loyalty program credit for your extra night? Probably, I guess. I don't know about that. That's an interesting question, because now that I'm building mine up again with Carnival. But yeah, that's a good question, and I would assume because that's a night at sea, and that's normally what the points are based on. Jason says, I'm booked on a Greek Island cruise next May, Celebrity Constellation. Feel free to join. I can't remember it seems to me I've got something already booked when you're on that cruise, because I looked at that one once before. Bonnie says, hey, Chillie, if you do a transatlantic cruise, I'd join you. I haven't been across the pond yet. Cool. The Philippines. Oh, laugh out loud. Yeah, I know. He was making a pun of his own, but he clearly said he was from Philadelphia. So anyway, I'll do like him. He's a good guy. Panama City is on the Pacific side. Okay, I was thinking, Oh, no, that's the other Panama ports on this side. Yeah, you're right, Hot Air. Panama City's on the Pacific side. You're correct. I'm wrong. So MSC has a transatlantic crossing as low as 25 per night. Wow. That's pretty cool. With low or no single supplement. Yeah, I know. I love MSC because of that. That would, if I can catch a transatlantic on any MSC ship that I don't have to fly, then once I get to Europe, I don't mind moving around Europe. I could do a couple cruises over there. Probably not going to be able to catch a transatlantic back at the time of year that I could take a transatlantic over because they stay over there. Maybe. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Jason says you should be platinum. That. Yeah, this happened about 10 years ago. And there were it was just a total screw up. And it never got straightened out. And I never cared. I never really followed the loyalty programs that much until, the last couple of years that I've started paying attention to it. And then the same thing with learning about casino loyalty points, and I'm trying to get educated on that. Just so I'll know to answer questions for you guys. Dennis says they're not your competitors; they're just a bunch of clowns. Yeah, I know, but I'd still call them competitors. One of them had a false headline about Tiffany and Company owner. Turns out it wasn't the Arnolds, but a licensor of Turkey. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, but I can't do that. If that's what it takes to, have 150,000 subscribers, I'll never have 150,000 subscribers because I'm only going to throw out there what is verified fact, And if it's not, I've even done stories before, and I said, look, guys, this is not verified, but it looks like it's the correct thing. I'll tell you that too. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. I've got to go make sure that we're still going in circles, that the captain hasn't parked this boat somewhere out here, and maybe he's on the back of the deck fishing. I don't want to run out of food, so maybe the captain's back there trying to catch a fish for dinner. I got to go make sure that's not happening. Besides that, I hear a chocolate martini calling me. That's next. All right, guys. Cruise Amigos this afternoon at 1 o'clock my time. We'll try to do this again. You guys stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising. Hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Let's see if the closing thing will load this time like the intro didn't. You guys have a fantastic day. See you for Cruise Amigos later. And tomorrow from who knows where.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up,